Some discoveries don't happen dramatically. They happen quietly, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon. Irene was clearing out old boxes when she found it. A folded envelope tucked inside a Bible she had never seen opened. Her name, written in handwriting that wasn't her mother's. Inside, a birth certificate. She read it once, then again. The mother's name listed wasn't the woman who raised her. Irene sat on the floor for a very long time, not crying, just trying to remember how to breathe.
The hardest person to confront is the one who tucked you in at night. She sat across from her mother at the kitchen table. Same woman, same hands, same voice that had called her name 1,000 times. But now, Irene was seeing her differently. Like a photograph slightly out of focus. "Are you okay?" her mother asked. "Just tired," Irene replied. She folded her hands in her lap to stop them from shaking. She wasn't ready yet, but the question was already burning through everything.
The cruelest secrets are the ones kept by the people closest to you. Irene went to Zara. Not with anger, with exhaustion. "Did you know?" she asked simply. Zara went very still. And that stillness was its own answer. "How long?" Irene whispered. Zara looked at the floor. "Mom told me when I was 17. She made me promise." 17. Irene repeated the word slowly. All those years, all those dinners, all those moments Zara had smiled at her across the table while carrying this. "Is that why?" Irene asked quietly. "Is that why you always felt like I didn't deserve what I had?" Zara's eyes filled. She didn't answer, but she didn't deny it either.
The truth has a way of arriving from every direction at once. Irene was sitting alone when David called. She almost didn't answer. "I need to tell you something," he said, "and I should have told you sooner." Her chest tightened. "Your aunt, your mother's sister, she contacted me 2 months ago. She said you deserved to know the truth about where you came from. I told her it wasn't my place." Silence. "I thought I was protecting you," he said quietly. "I was wrong. I made the same mistake I made with Zara. I listened to someone else decide what you could handle." Irene closed her eyes. The man she loved had known, not out of cruelty, out of fear, which somehow made it both easier and harder to hold. "I'm not angry," she said finally. "You should be," he replied. "I know," she said, "but I'm too tired."
Some conversations change the shape of your entire life. Irene sat her mother down. No raised voice, no accusations. Just the birth certificate placed quietly on the table between them. Her mother looked at it for a long time. Then she looked up, and for the first time in Irene's life, she saw something unfamiliar in that face. Not a stranger, something more complicated than that. A woman who had made a choice decades ago and had spent every day since then loving her way through the consequences. "I was going to tell you," she began. "When?" Irene asked. Her mother had no answer. "I don't hate you," Irene said slowly. "I want you to know that. But I need to understand who I am. And I can't do that if you keep deciding what I'm allowed to know about myself." Her mother reached for her hand. Irene let her take it, but she didn't squeeze back. Not yet.
She wasn't looking for a replacement. She was looking for the missing piece of herself. The name on the birth certificate was Grace. That was all she had. A name, a city, a date. Irene sat at her kitchen table with her laptop open and her tea going cold. She wasn't afraid. She had already survived finding out that her whole story was different than she thought. What was one more truth? She typed the name slowly and pressed search.
Some moments you prepare for your entire life without knowing it. It took 3 weeks. A mutual contact, a phone call, a voice on the other end that went silent when Irene said her name. Then, I wondered if this day would ever come. Irene gripped the phone. The voice was soft, slightly unsteady, like someone trying to hold themselves together. I never stopped thinking about you, the woman said, not once. Irene had prepared a list of questions, practiced them, ordered them. Every single one of them disappeared. Instead, she said the only thing that was true. I just needed to know I existed to someone before I became who I am. The woman on the other end began to cry. And for the first time in weeks, so did Irene.
She went looking for her mother. What she found was herself. Irene walked home slowly that evening. The sky was doing something quiet and orange above the rooftops. She thought about her mother, the one who raised her, the one whose hands had braided her hair and whose voice had told her she was loved on every hard day. She thought about Grace, the one whose absence had always been a shape she couldn't name. She thought about Zara, broken in ways that had nothing to do with Irene, but had cost Irene everything. She thought about David, who was learning, slowly, how to stop making decisions on her behalf. And she thought about herself, who she had been before all of this, who she was now. She wasn't the girl who needed everyone to tell her she was enough. She had walked through the fire of her own story and come out the other side, not unburnt, but clear. And clarity, she realized, is the most expensive thing a person can earn. She got home, made tea, sat in the quiet, and for the first time in a long time, the quiet didn't feel empty. It felt like hers.
But Grace had something else to tell her. Something that explained why the secret was kept so long. Something that involves a name Irene has had her whole life. And when she hears the full truth, everything she thought she had healed from will crack open again.
Part 4 is coming. Comment your country. Follow Osman 22 Studio because this story is just only the beginning.